All right. So, Deja, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you getting on. I know you probably just got off of work, huh?
Did.
I
Get
know. The
my
grind
highs,
is
huh?
real. The grind is real. So we appreciate you taking the time out. So let's just jump right into it. How did you ever hear about Beyond Rhetoric?
Um, so pretty much first time hearing about Beyond Rhetoric was about a month ago. I had met Troy at New Beginnings, which is the detention facility that I work at currently. He was out there volunteering in the kitchen. I was going up to get me a plate of food, and immediately we started engaging in a conversation. He brought up Beyond Rhetoric. Um, and I just started talking about my passion for helping incarcerated youth and my studies at BHU, as you can see on this shirt, which I study psychology and sociology with like a criminal justice type of focus. And so once we started talking about that, he just kind of let me know the work that he's doing and that the team is doing with incarcerated youth. And immediately I wanted to know more. I wanted to research the organization. He suggested that I should be a part of the board. I was nervous. I was just kind of like, I'm not sure if I have the time. Um, but he was just like, with your background and your skill set, I think this would be good for you. So once I went in and did my research on the organization, I tried to sign up for a volunteer. But of course, Troy came back and was like, I still want you on my board. So, here I am.
And so, how did you get a passion for working with youth? How did that all start? Where was the genesis with that?
That's so funny you said Genesis because that's the name of the unit I work on. So the unit, yes, it's Genesis. But honestly, working with youth in particular, that passion has stemmed from my own personal experience. Being system impacted myself. I've experienced the foster care system. I've also experienced being incarcerated myself as a juvenile. And so, with that, I originally went to school for business. Funny story, actually. Did not like it. It's not where my heart was at. Um, I've always had a passion for giving back to my community, especially the community that I came from. And so that kind of started my, that was the start of my passion, but it was kind of like I felt obligated to help these youth. So, really, my personal experience. That's the basics of why I'm where I'm at now. And then I've also just started working with other nonprofit organizations back home in San Francisco. United Players, that's a violence prevention program that I've been a part of since the seventh grade. I've also worked with various others like Omega Boys Club, which also went into juvenile facilities, helping to mentor the youth and things of that nature. And I was doing this before I even got to college. So, it kind of just all came together for me to be where I'm at now, which is working directly with youth in juvenile. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
So you've got such a breadth of experience. You've seen so many things. Let me ask you this. Like, what are the best ways that you found that volunteers need to engage with the youth in detention centers or even outside of detention centers that you've seen dealing with those that are disenfranchised?
So the first step that I would say is most important is to build those genuine relationships with the youth. You know, trauma is something that is so real. It's so real and it heavily impacts our community. I'm going to say that. Um, and a lot of these kids, they come from being abandoned, they come from neglect, they come from, you know, just not having it all, not having opportunities. And when someone takes the time out their day to just show genuine love and care, that means a lot and it goes a long way. So first, definitely got to build that relationship. Um, and that means always keeping your word. Like, I'll give an example. I've been speaking with this one particular youth, very smart, very bright. She wants to go to school. She wants to go to college. And I told her, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call the school. I'm going to check on the status of your application, because she really wants to go to the school. She done told me that she wants to pledge. And, with me being a Delta, she said, AKA, that hurt my heart. But, we're going to move past that. But just showing her that I can take the time on, just being able to invest in her education, just showing her that genuine care that I don't have to be on the clock. I don't have to do this for the money. Like, this is something I genuinely want to do. That goes a long way. So that's the first thing I would definitely say. Um, Next, I would just say being consistent. That's always the thing. You have to be consistent. They will see through all the fakeness. They will see through the ones who are doing it just for a paycheck. So just being able to be there, show up for them when they need you, um, and just being, always just be there. Like, whenever they need your help, be able to assist them in any way that you can. And if you can't support them, find someone who can, because they're asking you for a reason. They have trust in you. Um, so I definitely say that. And then just being able to teach them. They are learning. Their brains are still developing. Um, there's a lot of things that they don't know. There's a lot of things that they're working on, and just being able to extend that grace, but also to pull them up when they need that help. But yeah, I would say those are my three things that are most important when you're engaging with this population.
Mm, those are important tips, and I would say that me and a couple other people we talked about consistency before. That you have to continue to keep showing up. It may be a bad day that you have with them, maybe a bad day you have with the RAs, or as some of the people in the audience that don't know what RA is, we would kind of consider them on the outside a guard, but they're not a guard.
Hmm.
Um, but you got to be consistent. You got to keep showing up, and I think when you keep showing up, they realize that you got skin in the game and you are devoted to them, because no one cares what you have to say unless they know that you care. You know.
Right.
Yeah, so true. So, from what you see currently and presently, um, being around the youth now and your time that you've been with them, gosh, over the last few years, what do you see that is a trend that is like the greatest need for those who are in the audience that are thinking about becoming volunteers, should kind of strive for, or be looking to do, or be looking to support?
I say one of the greatest needs, um, aside from three things I listed, they need they need someone who's kind of like family oriented in a sense. Like, don't treat them as if they're just some kids on the street. Treat them how you would want to treat your younger siblings or your nieces, nephews, because, like I said, most of the times they don't have that at home. Um, and just being able to show up for them in those ways, they notice it, they pay attention, they're aware, and even when they may cuss you out, because let me get something straight. It's not all peaches and creams on that side. I done went in, um, they call us OJTs, that's on the job training. So when you come in, you're still in training. You're not officially a staff yet. Oh, and I was cussed out plenty of times. I've been threatened to get spit on, to get slapped, and all this, that, and the third. Um, but to be able to shake that off and come in the next day and still show up as my authentic self and to still speak to them, good morning. Yeah, you cussed me out yesterday, but today's a new day. and I'm not going to hang that over you. So I set my boundaries, of course, but I'm going to treat you how I would want somebody to treat, if I had kids, my kids, or my younger siblings. Like, I'm not going to just treat you any type of way. And I think that's the most important thing about being a volunteer, excuse me. Um, so definitely treating them fairly, and I have to stress consistency, because when you step into their lives, they're used to people stepping right out. They gonna give you some pushback, and if you just show them like, I can't do this, like, and you walk out, now you just proving them right about a lot of things. And it's like, no, show them that you here and you here to stay and you here to help them. Um, and be like big brothers and big sisters. Like, they need that love, they need that care, they need to be shown something different. And that's kind of like, I hate that they can get that in the juvenile facility, and when they get released they might be going back into the same toxic environments that they left. And that's kind of like, that's unfortunate, but that's why we're having programs like Beyond Rhetoric, and how we're having other nonprofits that can work with them also in the community, because that's where the need is too.
Yeah, it's so great that you said that, Daisha. I wanna pivot towards that. So I've been a part of this for about 4 to 5 years, and worked with a lot of different youth, mainly only in Baltimore. I just focus only on Baltimore. Uh, there was an opportunity with one youth out of the 4.5 years that I've been there to be able to transition, work with their caseworker, and work with them on the outside. It has been a absolute challenge, to cross over that line and be able to, keep the relationship going when they're out. What what advice would you give myself and other people on how to, I don't know, bridge that gap in order to be able to work with them once they get out? What's the best advice that you would give or that you've seen?
Look, the way technology is, um, stay in contact. If you're able to stay in contact, do those check-ins. Like I said, it goes a long way. It goes a long way to be able to check in on them, to just see how they're doing. How's your day going? How you feeling today? Did you eat? Because some of these kids, they don't get 3 meals a day outside, like, or if you can, if you have it in you to pull up on them, bring them some food, maybe shoot some hoops, whatever they like to do. Just spend a little bit of your time to do that with them. It just means so much. Like, I can't even stress it. Like, and they're gonna look back at it like, dang, like, you really you really supported me. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you. And when you hear those words, it's just like, even though they might have gave you hell, them pouring back into you like that, oh my gosh, it's like the most rewarding feeling ever. And this is coming from me, and I, like, just recently, one of my residents, I think this was like yesterday or 2 days ago, just wrote me a thank you letter, and that touched my heart. Like, I was just like, I'm really making an impact. And you might not see it, or they might not see it right now, but they gonna come around, and it's gonna be like, the work that you put in, being consistent with them, that's gonna pay off. And it's gonna make you feel so good about yourself. It's gonna make you feel good about the work that you're doing. It's gonna make you want to continue doing the work. And truth be told, you can't save them all. I'm gonna be honest. You can't save them all, but when you can touch a few, man, you done did your job. You
Mm,
done did your job.
I hear that. So the issue that we get that disconnect with the case manager. So I think a number of us that have been trying over the years, we would love to do everything that you just said. Is somehow once they get through to the case manager, and the case manager is supposed to keep up with us, because um, we can't ask for their contact information. They
Mm-hmm.
can only We can only give our stuff to the case manager to give to them, and hopefully they
To them.
reach out, and then we can bridge that. um, and that has been tough. Is it something that we need to do better with the case managers, or something, in order to make that connection to get our information over to the youth? Because we don't even have confirmation that the youth even got our phone number or anything like that.
I think there definitely needs to be better communication um, between you and the case manager, because if this is someone you've been working with and you know that your relationship is there to where you can give your contact information, they can reach out to you, then press the case manager. Hey, did you ever speak to so and so? Did they receive my contact information? Let them know I'm thinking about them. Let them know that I want to see if they're okay. Um, Tell them reach out to me. Like, I don't think there's no issue with letting them know like you want to check up on this youth. And I'm pretty sure like the youth is going to want to reach out. Like, if that relationship is there, they're going to want to reach out. But definitely press the case worker. Make them do their jobs. Make
I,
them do their jobs. I'm team make them do their jobs, because
I
I know me. Um, Eventually, yes, my role as a youth development representative, I've been telling people this. I feel like a babysitter, essentially. That's what I am. That's my role. And I want to do more of like a case management, care coordinator type of role, where I can have those one-on-ones with the youth, and I'm able to really dive deep into um, recognizing their traumas and trying to help them get all the mental and emotional support that they need. Like, I want to be able to do that type of work. So for me, if I know this is somebody you've been working with, oh yeah, reach out to this person. I'm gonna tell the youth like this is somebody you should continue to be in contact with, because you don't know who else is feeding into them like while they're out in the community. So even though you've done with your part while they were inside, now that they're outside and they're not talking to you anymore, who else is in their ear? Who else is telling them stuff like, right from wrong? Who you don't know what they being fed. So you want to be able to continue to be that good angel on their shoulder. So make them do their job.
hear
I don't care if they get annoyed.
that. No doubt. Let me ask you about. I'm going to transition back. Uh, so you talk to Troy. You hear about this whole position with the board. There's a point in time where you're making a decision to say, "Man, am I going to do this?" What was that like? What was the things that were factors to you to decide to say, "All right, I should do this thing and be on the board," or, "Ooh, I don't know." What was going on with your thoughts?
So I have a habit of putting a lot of things on my plate. Um, Not too much to where I can't handle it, but a bit much to where I may feel a bit stressed out at times. Um, and in my head, I was just thinking, do I really have the time? I'm starting this new job. And by the way, I just recently moved to Baltimore, from like Hyattsville area. Yes, so now I'm out here. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking I just moved. I'm starting this new role, this new position at this new job. Where am I going to find time to actually, commit to this organization? And that's why I kind of was like, well, Troy, I can volunteer. Maybe I can put in an hour once every week or so. But I'm not really sure what does it look like being on the board. And so when he kind of explained to me, it's not very, um, it's pretty flexible as far as time, like, meeting wise and stuff. Um, I was just like, you know what? I might as well give it a try. Like, this is right up my alley. I'm able to make more of impact doing this work, and just being able to expand beyond rhetoric. Um, I'm like, why not? Like I definitely want to help. I know I'm not from the DMV, but I know being in college and also just being a part of various organizations, I have the network, I have the connects to be able to bridge that gap. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me just go ahead and do it. And it's been going pretty well. I've reached out to one of my professors who is actually head of the criminology department at my school. Really cool guy. And then he's also like the head of the PD Green program, which is a program I was a part of that does the tutoring inside of YSC and New Beginnings. And so I'm working on getting volunteers who are interested in this work, or interns, depending on their comfortability, whether they want to enter facilities or not. I'm trying to, streamline that. And then I've been kind of like having small conversations with the superintendent, um, about possibly getting Beyond Rhetoric a contract with DYRS. And so it's been working out. I've been just, easing my way up into it. And so far it hasn't been too much heavy on the time. So, it's working out. And I'm able to make this impact. So I feel pretty good about my decision.
That's cool. Has anything surprised you so far?
Um, I think the most surprising part has been just being able to do this work and not like I feel like I'm doing the underground work, like I'm not really out in the like I'm for my job I'm out there in the field, but like for this I'm like undercover. I'm doing work, but it's like I'm not as hands on, but it's like I'm streamlining things. So I think it's been the surprising part to me is just how I'm able to still get the work done and I'm still able to make an impact even in this role to where it doesn't take too much for me to do it. Like it's like policy writing or something, like you're just doing the computer work, but like it's such a huge impact.
Hmm.
Like just the simple things, getting volunteers, getting people who are interested to come and do the work is like it's been rewarding.
Man, that's wonderful. So let me end with a final bonus question. So we throw this question out to people on every episode, and it's basically something that we use to get to know folks better. So
Mhm.
is there any show that you are watching right now or binging, or is there any movie that you've seen just lately, or any book that you're currently reading, just so the audience gets to know you just a little bit better?
Yeah, so I'm not a big TV person, but The Night Agent has been something I've been watching. Really good. You need to watch it. Start on season 1. It's only 2 seasons right now. Um but yeah, I've been watching that. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything like that. And then as far as books, I'm having a hard time finding the time to finish these books, but I've started 48 Laws of Power, as well as The Glass Girl. So I'm pretty sure you've heard of 48 Laws of Power. You haven't?
No, break it
Oh,
down.
I can't break it down too much because I ain't read enough of it. But you need to read it. You need
Okay,
to read it. It's really good. It kind of just it teaches you a lot. You just gotta read it.
okay. Is it more
48
so
Laws
like
of Power.
self-improvement or something like that?
Self improvement. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it pretty much teaches you how to be an asshole, but it teaches you how to, you know, still remain powerful. Like
Okay.
in it's just it's really good. It's good. I'm
Okay.
only on like the second law, but it's good.
But it's good.
So that's one you need to read. And then The Glass Girl, it's pretty good. It's about this girl who she lost her grandmother, and ever since then she pretty much became an alcoholic. Like she started drinking a lot until she passed out, and she's been working on herself trying to get sober and stuff like that. So um pretty interesting. Definitely trauma informed, all that. So that's a pretty good book as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, it is Black History Month, so
Whoop.
normally I'm sharing with my boys Eyes on the Prize
Okay.
through PBS. But what we just finished watching is the documentary on Malcolm X. It's called
Okay.
Make It Plain, um,
Okay.
which is fantastic. It's an old documentary, but to me, Um, it's one of the best compilations of footage dealing with his speeches, pictures of him and his family, guest interviews with his sisters, his half sisters, his brothers. They
Oh
they
wow.
get so many people in it, and I think there's some people that's even in the documentary that I think was a part of assassination.
Mm.
So yeah, if you ever watch it, there's there's certain tips that people just give of themselves while sharing. You know, how somebody
Mm.
would just kind of put themselves out there to kind of let you know that they did it or they were a part
Mm.
of it. Yeah. So I'm a huge Malcolm X fan. Both of my kids carry a part of his name. So both of them, one has Malcolm as their middle name, the other one is Malik as their middle name to go along with
Oh
his Muslim name, Malik El
yeah.
Hashabas. So big fan of his. So that's what I watched lately. And the book that I'm reading um, is called The Unseen Realm, and it looks more so at the dark spirits um, that happen in this world that we just don't know. You know how people
Mhm.
say, "Oh, something must have came over him," or something like that. It's those types of things, and just looking
Mhm.
back when, if you're a person that everybody knows the story about Jesus, whether you're religious or not.
Right.
When he's on the cross and he says, Father, forgive them for they do not know what they do. Right
Mhm.
there's something that he's seeing beyond just their human selfish desires, because
Mhm.
I'm like, how could these grown men and women not know what they're doing?
Right.
So that don't make sense to me. And the only way it makes sense is if he's able to see something beyond what we see. And so
Right.
that's the book I'm reading, and it helps me be empathetic to folks and be more gracious as well. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so it's a book that I'm still going through. I'm only in the first third of it,
Oh,
but yeah, I'm gonna try to finish it before this year's out. I take a long time to read books.
good look. I'm the same way, and that's why I feel like I don't get finished. And I don't know the last time I finished a book. Look, college was I was teen skimming and looking up summaries. Don't tell nobody.
I like that team skimming. All right,
Yeah,
well, Daisha, um, thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're
sure.
super busy. I want to give you the last word.
Well, no bars for the kids. And